Hey everyone, Josh with Alliance. On today's Tech Tip Tuesday, we're working on a 43 meter pump and we're going to be going over the air regulator locations for your PTO drive and shift cylinders, as well as the air pressure for your hydraulic tank. So right now we are in the outrigger shoulder on the driver's side of the pump, and as you can see we got this regulator right here. And now what this regulator does is control the amount of air pressure to your PTO drive and shift cylinders inside of your cabinet, which eventually goes to your PTO shift fork. So right now I've got our key on, our PTO switch is on, and you can see that this regulator right here is set to 0.65 MPa, which is what we want it to be set at. If you need to adjust this at all, first make sure that your truck's air tanks are full, and you'll want to pull this up right here, and you can either turn clockwise to increase pressure or turn counterclockwise to decrease pressure. Another feature of these regulators is that they have a catch can down here for any moisture that gets into your system, and to drain that out you can just press this right here and let any water out of the system there. Next we'll go to the passenger side and I'll show you the next regulator there. So as you can see here, we got our next regulator mounted up here. First of all, you want to make sure that your tank valve is closed right here. If it is open, you'll be exhausting pressure out of your tank and it will be hard for you to set the pressure properly. So we'll shut that there. And again, we'll want to make sure our key is on, truck's air tanks are full, and you are in PTO. Truck doesn't have to be running as long as your air tanks are full. And as you can see here, we got the same style regulator with the drain on the bottom. And on this one here, we want to actually pressurize our hydraulic tank to around 10 PSI, so 0.7 bar. But this regulator here is in MPa. So we want our needle to be just under the 1, so right between these two green knobs here. This one is already set correctly, so I won't adjust that one. But you do not want to use this gauge right here to check your actual hydraulic tank pressure. So I'll show you where that gauge is. Okay, so now we're at our passenger side by the rear outrigger shoulder. And as you can see here, mounted on our hydraulic tank near the top, we've got this air pressure gauge right here. And as you can see, our needle is pointing just to under 0.7 bar. So we actually could increase the pressure a little bit on it here. Now the way to do that properly is to go back to the passenger side cabinet where we were, release the top black handle on the regulator and turn it clockwise, probably around 1/4 to 1/2 a turn, and then come back over here to check your pressure. Because remember, we want to use this gauge right here on the actual hydraulic tank to check our pressure, not the one in the passenger side cabinet. Okay, just so to recap everything here, what we did is first we went to our driver side air pressure regulator. Now that one we set to 0.65 MPa, and that regulator controls the amount of air pressure to your PTO and drive shift solenoids. And next we came over to the passenger side of the pump in the side cabinet. We adjusted that regulator to just under the 1 for MPa. And then to check our pressure of our hydraulic tank, we actually went over here to the proper air pressure gauge on the tank, and we want to make sure that that one is set to 0.7 bar, so 10 PSI. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call.